But so give me a little bit of history on you, man. What do you do? How'd you get interested in coin rings, and where you're from? Just a couple minutes.
Mom had a thing. She has a gift shop in Ridge, Colorado called Post Flower and Gift Cottage, and she had a big event going on for her jewelry line called Elf Beads, and they're based out of Holland. And a gentleman by the name of Paul, he's the owner. He actually flew into Colorado to help out with the event and kind of share a little bit about his bead line. And he had one of those rings on, and I've never seen him before. My mom was like, "Hey, check out this ring," and I've been kind of thinking of little business startups, and so I kind of started looking into the whole ring process, and then I fell across your page and started watching some of your videos, and then I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. And so here we are.
Cool. All right. And it looks like, I mean, so you're having some issues. You're trying $1, which that's pretty hard to do. That took me years to figure out. But it looks like this morning you sent a picture showing your $50, and it was like awesome. So
I was really surprised because I was trying to have the issue with the fat tire look, and I didn't even use that. I just started with the 17-degree die, and I ended up like the finishing process. I just put it in the ring, the regular thing to reduce the ring, and I just smashed it down and got the perfect little curve on it.
There you go. That's all. That's pretty much it. You just got to smash it down and kind of figure out. I mean, for me, it was kind of like a aha moment where it kind of clicked, where it was like this a process, a puzzle that you have to figure out, and it really clicked for me. The biggest click for me was like, oh my gosh, I've got to expand these rings bigger than what I need. That was like the hugest like astronomical growth in my knowledge of doing it, was that I've got to get it bigger. I didn't know why at the time, but I knew that I had to get it bigger than what I wanted it to be to look right. Otherwise, I have that cone shape. And so it was all about stretching it bigger. And after doing it for a while, figured out that it was to get the cut side of the coin to that size, because it's thinner on that side, thicker on the reed side. And so that reed side's always going to be bigger than the cut side will always be bigger on the measuring mandrel than the reed side will be. But it's the reed side that you want to measure to fit for the finger. So that was the whole thing, was getting that cut side bigger. And I figured it was like between 2 to 3 sizes bigger for $50, or for dollars, and probably like, for quarters, like two sizes bigger, something like that. So, but so what questions do you have now? I mean, has it kind of clicked for you? It's like, oh, that's how you do it, or do you still have some questions?
I think when you told me to just stretch out the ring to a couple more sizes, that pretty much I felt like fixed most of my issues.
Okay.
I think the only thing that I'm still somewhat trying to grasp is like with the ring that I made today, I had a fairly medium fat tire look, but one side needs to be kind of pushed out a little more. So essentially, let's just say, probably kind of hard for me to describe, but on the reeded edge of the coin has like a perfect curve to it, and then the cut side is bent down a little further. So I kind of need to like make the edge of the cut coin go up just a tad more to get that perfect curve.
So that's where, okay, so that's where pushing the cone into that end only is very helpful. That way you can expand just that end and get it out, and then you can reduce it back down. And I like to anneal a lot, because I think that when because it gets thinner and thinner on the cut side, and as like, so you flare it out, you anneal it and then you reduce it, well, it's going to work harden. And so it's going to want to bend more at the base rather than the very tip. So you want to anneal a lot every time before you curve it back in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it looks, I mean, from what the picture you showed, it looked awesome, man. I mean, it took me,
Yeah, you basically, like, I just took your words of wisdom. You said just increase it, 2 to 3 sizes more, and I tried that, and I was like, you know what, let's just try to compress it down in the little ring reducer, and it kind of just compressed the 2 little edges, so it, nice little curve on it. Like I mean, should I still be using the 25 degree if I want to get that look, or do you think I could just mainly do it with just the ring reducer?
It totally depends what you like. I personally like to use the 17 degree to start the folding because it takes more of the pressure towards the center of the ring rather than the very outside, so it kind of brings everything down uniform. But then once it starts, the die starts to hit, before it starts to hit the detail, then I switch over to the 25. So the look that I like is like a semi-fat tire. It's not fully fat tire. It's not like this, big round ring, but it has a nice symmetry to it. Some people like the flat. People like, what you were saying, the comfort fit, where it's basically it's called anti-clastic, which is pretty cool. So, but I like the more of the symmetrical rounded. So.
I see. That's cool. And then one other question I had too, that I just remembered was, I thought, like, today when I was making this ring, I thought I completely messed it up because when I started folding it in the 17 degree die, I think I started with like the 1.3, and then I worked my way down to 1.2 and 1.1.
Yep.
But what I noticed was I started putting heavy dry lube on kind of over on the corners of my ring and also in the dies, so it kind of compress and fold easily. One issue that I had was, I think after the second time I folded the coin, the circular hole was kind of shifted to one side, and so I thought I just completely butchered it. Is there any way to eliminate that? Do you basically get like an even?
Did it look like
where you fold it straight down, or
did it look like a parallelogram, the ring? Like it was kind of like shifted like this. It's gonna take a while for you to see, but it was like this.
It was similar to that. Like it was basically one side was had more of a curve to it, and then the hole was just shifted just slightly over, so it wasn't center. Does that make sense?
The ring itself? That is
like so when I put the coin in the 17 degree die, and I compressed it down, so it started. But I think what happened was the coin kind of flipped over slightly, so it wasn't completely flat, and then the hole was kind of lopsided on the corner.
What type of coin?
Like the folding cone didn't go straight down; it kind of went off to the side and shifted the hole.
Oh, you were using the cone.
Yeah, I've been using all the cones.
Okay, yeah, the cone. You should just use the cone in like a kind of a last ditch effort. Kind of like I just need to move it a little bit more, but I wouldn't use the cone for like a primary stretching device. I mean, you can, but yeah, you got to make sure everything's level and even and stuff like that. Use the ring stretcher to do your stretching, and then reduce, and then if you have to, move a little bit, then push the cone in. And small presses, don't do like a big full press, but just do a real short press, real light, and kind of watch it. If it does shift, then readjust, press again, readjust, press on the cone to do your stretching or flaring. So, but I know Skylar did a video using the metal mandrel, and he was actually able to make a bunch of rings using just that. So
Really?
yeah, using the metal, and you can wrap Teflon around the metal to help save the detail. But that's kind of like if you don't even have a ring stretcher. I mean, that's what you're basically left to do, those tools. But if you have a ring stretcher, which you do, just rely on that. And if the coin does come out askew, parallelogram, or the hole's off, or something's wrong, part of the band is folded over more than the other, just anneal it, stretch it back out, reduce it back down. I kind of use the analogy of like kneading bread. You just kind of like just push it in and out, until it'll between using the stretcher, it'll even that coin out. But
okay. Yeah, because what I did notice is even it out, basically I just kept stretching it out to probably like 3 sizes bigger or 4 sizes, and that started to kind of shift the hole more center.
Yeah. That's what'll happen. And this is a clad JFK, is that correct?
Yeah, this is actually a clad. Trying to find another one. I just had a bunch of foreign coins in my bag. It's like a 1971. Says UN peso on it.
Oh.
So I think it's some Spanish coin.
That might, that's probably not silver. Okay, yeah, don't do pesos, because those are pretty tough to do. Yeah, I'd probably stick.
Yeah, because I just found some laying in there, and I'm like, man, I already ran out of the $half, so I think I'm gonna basically make those my $half.
Yeah.
No,
go
work on the size.
Yeah, go to the bank and get a couple of 50-cent pieces. I mean, I started on quarters. That's what I learned on. I destroyed a lot of quarters. And then I figured I had to get bigger dies to do 50 cent. And that's why I started. That's why I had the large, the 1.1, 1.2 die made, so I can do 50 cent. And I got that figured out. And then I said, oh my gosh, I got to get bigger dies. And then I went to the 1.5, 1.6, and that worked for the dollars. But I would stick to quarters and the clad 50-cent pieces right now, and just get really confident with those. And then start experimenting with smaller coins and larger coins, because the smaller they go, the more difficult it becomes. The larger they get, the more difficult it becomes. And then the different metals is basically just like a feel of confidence. I mean, you could take, a gold coin's $1,300, and you don't want to mess one of those up. So, yeah, but a silver $half, well, the price is going up right now. So, but a silver half is like $18. There's a high premium on it. I don't know, probably $5-6 right now. It's not bad, but a clad 50-cent piece is 50 cents. It's nothing. So yeah, and then you could go to clad 50 cent, and then go to 40% silver 50-cent piece, and then go to the full 90% silver 50-cent piece. But I mean, and then the Washington silver quarters are really difficult because the way they're minted, they're real thick and real thin in places, so they want to wobble and twist out on you. So that's kind of a higher level, kind of like coin to make. So I would stick with the clad quarters and clad 50 cent right now, and then and then make sure to read the manual, because the steps are laid out so that you do this, and then you do that, you do that. So kind of just follow the step by step in the manual. And then, like I said, that whole system or puzzle will kind of click in your head, and it's like, oh, that's what it is. So, and then at that point, you want to practice, and then go to the extreme. See how big you can make a coin ring, and then see how small you can make a ring, say for a 50-cent piece, and then try it without annealing at all and see when it breaks. And then try like over annealing to see how easy it is, and just kind of like really, try all extremes, so you find so you can find the limit of the metal, find the limit of your tools, and then find your own personal limit. And once you find that, your own personal limit will grow, and you'll be able to really maximize what you do.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd stay away from the pesos right now. I remember I remember doing one of those in the farmer's market in Utah. It was a guy's, it was like a 1930 something, you know, pesos, like a dollar size coin. It's huge. It's like, yeah, it's my grandfather's. He gave it to me when I was a kid. It's like, oh my gosh. All right, here we go. I think I can do this. And I was
you don't want to butcher the sentimental coin.
I know. Well, it's those personal coins that are priceless because that's the only one in the entire universe. You know, that'll never be replaced. So you got to take real special care with those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
so is that a peso that you sent the picture of this morning? Wow, that's really impressive, man. That's good.
Yeah, I figured I was like you said, because like everybody's telling me that once I start doing the silver coins, it's going to be I'll probably be able to do it a lot faster, and it's just an easier, more malleable metal to fold and everything. But I was like, let's just try with some super hard, probably 5 metal.
That's
5 metal in this peso. So I figured let's try that.
That's a really good argument. If you learn on the hardest possible thing, then everything else will be easier. Like when I was learning how to ride horses, I'd go camping and hunting up in the mountains, and I'd go with my cousin. He'd have a different horse every time. And it was like the worst horse every single time. But I got to a point. I got to a point. It's like I could ride any horse in the world now because I've ridden them all. I've ridden the worst, and so that is something to say about that. It is good to learn. Learn the hardest thing, and then everything else will be easy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying to have a big bag of silver coins right now. I'm trying to break them in, but I think we're gonna try to finish the stack of quarters and maybe a couple more $half before we any of that.
Yeah, hold off on the silver. It's gone up like $4 in the past month, so it's going up. Yeah, but I mean, you look at a $5 half, 50-cent piece, $6, whatever it costs to get, but you can put a little bit of human labor in it and then make it into a ring and sell it and make a great profit and buy more coins. So that's kind of the idea.
That'd be good.
Yep.
Is $20 for a I've been getting these Morgan silver dollars for $20. They're anywhere from like 18 something to 1921. Is that a pretty fair price?
That sounds like they're probably fakes because that's a really good price. That's a really, really good price. I'll have to buy some.
Well, the gentleman that I'm buying from, he's like,
is he good?
He's a very, very generous guy. And
okay. Well, if he's a generous guy, then I'm sure they're fine. But yeah, that's a great price, man. I've been paying like $30, 25 to 30, and that was like 4 months ago, so they're probably even higher now. But yeah, check it. I mean, if it's a good person, a good seller, wouldn't worry about it. But if there's any question, then check it with a magnet to see if it's made of steel, and then you could also weigh it and then compare it. It's a Morgan dollar is about 3/4 of troy ounce, 372 gram. I can't remember. It's on Wikipedia, but it sounds like it's good. But there are some fakes made in China that have been circulating, so do be aware of that. But if he's a good guy, then he should be fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because he was. There was I could supply you for 40 years because apparently he's been collecting them over his whole lifetime, I guess. But,
well, you got a gold mine, man, but don't say too much because we're live right now. So, but sounds like you got a great contact, and I would keep that. So keep that relationship. Definitely make him a ring. You got to make him a ring.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make him like one for each hand. We'll make him 10 Morgan dollars.
There you go, Morgan Duster. There you go.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's awesome. Well, so did you have any? Did you have other questions, or I mean, sounds like you kind of got it, man. I
want to say I do, but it's hard for me to believe I'd get it in like 3 days. I spent like 9 hours from like 12 to like almost 10 o'clock. I butchered probably 7 of them, and then the last couple of them have been actually out like
Yeah.
a lot better than I imagined. So I don't know.
Well, you put a lot of hours in. I mean, when I was first starting out, I only had a couple of days a month, couple hours a month to even, you know, try to figure it out. And so that's great that you're able just to kind of, and I noticed that you were just buckling down, because for me, it was a scratch I couldn't itch. I had to figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like it was the same for you. So it sounds like you got it.
Oh yeah, thank you very much for being able to share all of your knowledge, and yeah, it's very helpful.
No, my pleasure, man. Just trying to help people get a business going, because it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, man, I really appreciate it. And yeah, contact me anytime if you got any questions. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much, and I'll enjoy watching your video right now.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.